Hello, 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 and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Kyla Ariel, and this is where all things lifestyle, becoming the better version of you, and doing so in a way that feels most authentic to who you are, come together as one. I am so excited to be chatting with y'all today. Like I said, if this is your first time seeing me, if this is your first time meeting me, we're on the couch. We're on the couch, so that means that we are getting deep, we're getting to the nitty gritty, and I am getting in your business. But it's okay because it's all great conversation. This chit chat and the next few that you guys will see, honestly, will be very focused on just preparing for the new year and starting 2024 off on the right foot. And I can't wait to dive in. But before we start, I must say thank you. Like I mentioned, if you haven't watched my channel before, a few weeks ago, I let the people know that I wanted to reach monetization status by the beginning of the year, meaning basically December 31st. We're wrapping it up and we're stepping into 2024 monetized on YouTube. And y'all showed out. So I just must say thank you. It's so amazing and beautiful to build community. And it's not even about building community quickly or fast paced, but for me to give a call to action and to lean on y'all to be transparent, to be candid, and for y'all to show up is everything. So thank you. I'm so excited to continue to build, to continue to grow, to continue to talk, and it's going to be great. But before we get started with today's conversation, I have a giveaway. So stay tuned. Don't leave. Do not leave. It's a good one. It's holiday season. It's all about gifting. So you know what that means. Stay tuned. Because I'm giving away a JOLIE shower head. If you've never heard of JOLIE, they are the filtered shower head company. I literally have one of these in my shower right now, and it is amazing. Number one, it is easy to self-install. I'm not like a tools girl. No shade, because if you are, that's amazing. I'm not doing any type of that work around the house. So for this to be easy to install on my own, I absolutely loved it. But most importantly, if you have any symptoms to, hair, scalp, skin type of symptoms to the current unfiltered water that you're using, this is the problem solver. I'm not even lying to y'all. I've been to the dermatologist for so many things within the past year plus. And ever since I have been using the JOLIE shower head, I have seen a complete difference in the feel of my skin and the lack of dryness in my scalp. And I'm just so excited. I had to give one away to y'all. So be sure that y'all follow the giveaway entry rules. They will be in the description box, okay? And I don't have an end date, so just keep an eye out for all of my Vlogmas videos to come, for all of the details. Just stay tuned. Thank y'all for being a part of this community. I really wanted to do something special because it's been a long time coming in this creator journey, and I'm just loving YouTube, and I'm so glad to be doing this with y'all. Alrighty, so let's dive in. I want to chat, what does preparing for the new year mean to you? We're walking into 2024. I'm letting y'all know now, I'm claiming it. This is going to be a transformative year because we are doing the work, we are creating the plan, and we are walking it out. Q4 of this year, I have to be honest with y'all, has been super redefining for me. God has really been dealing with the desires of my heart and just the overall intention and purpose around the things or the goals that I have for myself. And if you're watching, you're like, okay, what does God have to do with this? Or what does that even mean? I want you to stay tuned because it's bigger than just it's bigger than just thinking that we can write things down on a sheet of paper, walk away from it, and it comes to life, right? There's a lot that happens. And for me, that means getting into alignment with God's will for my life. No ifs, ands, or buts. When I started this year, I had some lofty goals. I had some ambitious goals, right? Grow X amount across social and followers, have X amount of income or X amount saved in my bank account, go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. And while there's nothing wrong with having those goals, a lot of my goals, I will be honest and transparent and candid because y'all know that's how I am. A lot of my goals were rooted in self-ambition. And because they were rooted in self-ambition, I had no concept of planning for those things to make them happen, because not only were they rooted in self-ambition, but there was no real purpose driving them. And when there's no real purpose driving the things that you want to see come to fruition, you really just write them down and they kind of lay there, they kind of stay there. So I'm saying all of this with love. This is going to be an amazing conversation because I want us to walk away really having an understanding for how we can intentionally plan for 2024 to be a transformative year, because it will be. It will be. Now, at the end of the year, many of us get our vision boards, which I have 100% done before. Or if you're like me lately, you have your vision plan where you write everything out. And once that's done, you're just kind of like, boom, it's going to happen for me. Next year is going to be my year, right? Wrong, because it doesn't just stop with writing the vision and making it plain, right? You got to write the vision and write the plan. And so I want to go into what that looks like, how we intentionally prepare, and doing so in the most tangible way, because y'all know y'all gonna walk away with some action items. So let's get into number one. I want us to think about the things that we want to implement in our lives January 1, 2024. I want you to sit, reflect, and think about those things and start them now. Start them today. I don't care if you're watching this after January 1st, but you're going to start today, because the reality is the new year is not some light switch that we flip on and everything changes, right? We've heard that analogy from our parents, but everything changes and everything is perfect and it starts to happen. Those habits literally need to be implemented today. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine recently about going to the gym this year. And I was getting a little frustrated because I was starting to feel like my approach with fitness was just kind of passive this year. And when in previous years, it was very intentional. I was showing up, doing what I had to do. But this year, it just felt very passive. I really wasn't loving it. I really didn't want to be there, kind of always making excuses, still showing up, but not with my best foot forward. And I really do feel like it reflected poorly in my results. And I was letting her know that, like, I need your help holding me accountable, but I need this to start like tomorrow. I can't wait until January 1st to write out all my goals and be like, okay, Q1, we're going to be going 2 times a week. Q2, we're going to be going 3 times a week. And by Q4, we should be going 4. I've had this whole year, honestly, low-key, to get myself together. I'm starting 3 to 4 times a week today, because if that is where I want to end, I know that I am capable of starting that now. And it's not to say, if you have a goal of going to the gym, that you should just go cold turkey, hit it hard, and just start going hard. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what is the realistic plan to get there, and how can you stick to that? And I think oftentimes we don't really think about the second part. It's like, okay, I want to see the output. This is what I want to see happen. This is what I want the end result to be. But we don't really dive into how we get to that point, which leads me to my second point. Think about the things that you wanted to accomplish this year and why they didn't happen. Because sometimes what I'm realizing is that we got to work backwards. We know that this is the output that we want to see come to life. What is the plan or the pathway to get there based on what I have not been able to make happen in the past? Meaning, where were those like bottlenecks or barriers to you getting to where you need to be? Are there systems you need to put in place or things that you can deprioritize to help you show up in the area or help you achieve your biggest goal? For example, we can use social and content creation for me. When I started at the top of this year, my goal was to be successful on every platform. I mean, 300K across the board, if we want to be completely transparent, X amount on Instagram, X amount on TikTok, launch my YouTube in the year with X amount here. And it just wasn't realistic for me, right? Because I have a full-time job. I have to show up in other areas of my life. I am in a whole relationship, you know what I mean? And sometimes we have to look at the real circumstances, our reality, and rationalize with ourselves. Not rationalize with ourselves, but get to a point of understanding, like, okay, if I want to see this come to pass, if I want this to happen, then these are the areas that have to move around. Some call it pivoting, but I think in this case, it's really just finding the harmony for things to exist at once. And for me, I gave the example of content creation because YouTube is something that as soon as I did it, I loved it. But as soon as I did it and as soon as I loved it, I also realized that it does take time. It takes time. It takes energy. I also have a podcast. They kind of go hand in hand, which is why sometimes I'm like, you got to separate the two. But regardless, giving my 110% to my full-time job, giving my 110% to my podcast and to YouTube, there's really not much room right now in this season for me to be showing up on other platforms. So that meant having to deprioritize Instagram, TikTok, short form content that is just not the biggest priority for me right now. And earlier I talked about aligning ourselves with where God has us. And that is why I mentioned that. It's because I had to realize this idea that I had in my mind of how my life needed to unfold and how things needed to come to life this year and all the goals I wanted to achieve, I had to release those things because I had to realize that it's just not this season, and that's okay. And sometimes when we create lofty goals, again, rooted in self-ambition, we're not in alignment with where God has us, meaning we trying to make things happen that don't have nothing to do with where we're supposed to be at. And I had to understand that because social has been such a big there's been such a big shift for me in my approach to social. Also, I don't even really enjoy it for real. I said it. It's not even enjoyable. I'm forcing myself to do something that is not enjoyable, is not for the greater good. It's not benefiting me health-wise. It's not making me a better person at the end of the day. Again, self-ambition means it's literally just serving myself or the idea of myself that I had in my mind. And so I really want us to think about how we can reprioritize and restructure our lives once we have our goals, right? How we can reprioritize and restructure our lives to fit those things in a realistic fashion. Also, this is just a sub note, it's not a race. It's not a race. I mentioned this earlier about pace or quick growth. I think we've grown really accustomed to wanting to see those things happen. I know I have. And I've had to really get rooted in being okay with not having, the microwave situation, not having the instant virality, not having things happen overnight, really putting the work in and really seeing them come to pass. Because a lot of times, and it's no knock to people who have gone viral, who have grown very quickly, very rapidly from a social standpoint. But a lot of times with some of our goals, they do take time because not everything is social media. Not everything has that same impact or that same effect. And so I think a part of what has helped me wrap my mind around it is asking myself that question over and over again. What do I need in this season to thrive? What is no longer serving me? If you haven't watched, I think it was one of my first videos, 5 mindsets that are no longer serving your growth. I encourage you to go back and listen to that one because I really dig deep, and I won't repeat them now, but I really dig deep into some of those mindsets that we don't want to be taking with us in 2024. Those still apply. And so I'll move on to the next. I don't want to harp, but again, what do you need to thrive? How can you reprioritize and restructure your life to really achieve those goals that you want to in 2024? Which leads me to point number 3, our last and final. Do not be afraid to be seen. Y'all, I was recording The Minor Detail a few weeks ago, and my guest mentioned this phrase that I absolutely loved and have carried with me like every day since. We were talking about being an entrepreneur and being in business and why a lot of, business owners are afraid to start or really get things off the ground. And she mentioned Kyla, a lot of people are afraid of being seen. And it really stuck with me because it's so true. I have struggled with this myself, but what really resonated and what really came out of that for me is the fact that sometimes we are afraid to be seen trying. We're afraid to be seen starting and failing, or starting and it not ending out exactly how we pictured. And so we feel like, people are judging us. People might have other thoughts of us. They might be thinking negatively about us. But one thing that we do not have the time and energy to do in 2024 is being afraid to be seen trying. Okay. You know the phrase, do it afraid or do it scared. I don't always love the phrase, but the way that I interpret it is do it even though you might fail. Do it even though you don't know the outcome. Do it even though you don't have all the answers. And I also think that sometimes we want to know all of the things that we can possibly know before we get started. And I am here to remind you that that is a hoax. You will never know everything because we're all literally just figuring it out. And so when we're thinking about going into 2024, I encourage you to not be afraid of being seen, not being afraid of being seen trying, not being afraid of being, of putting your best foot forward, because at the end of the day, we are all going to be doing things for the first time. If you have goals that you set out for yourself in 2024 that you have never even tapped into, you've never accomplished, it's going to be your first time, and that's okay. It's okay that you don't have all of the answers. It's okay that you're figuring it out as you go, because that is a part of the process. Like I mentioned before, sometimes we want that instant overnight success, and it's really not the case. And we're going to be trying. We're going to be trying hard. So we're afraid to be seen trying, then we're spending all of our time thinking about how we're afraid to be seen trying, or thinking about how we can get there. Because another, I think, Another problem that I kind of fall into sometimes is ruminating. You're thinking about every single scenario. You're thinking about every step that you could possibly take. But I'm encouraging you now, just take the step. Just go for it. Just go after it. Because when we step into this new year, right? When we get clear on our goals, when we start to make a plan of action and implement that today, trying will be the least of our worries, because we're literally going to be so concerned with walking that out that we can't think about the fear behind what it means to take that first step. And so I am just really looking forward to a positive 2024. I am really looking forward to this year being transformative. And in the next video, the next conversation, we're going to dive deep into what it means to want to be the expert. We're going to dive into some of the attributes or characteristics and experiences that come with that, because I think that's a big theme for me, and I know I can't be alone in that. I know I can't. But I want to encourage you today to just really take some time to ask yourself, what do I want to see happen in 2024? Maybe not so much like, what do I want to achieve? What are the biggest goals that I can think about? Not saying you should think small, but just start off by thinking, how do I envision this unfolding? And then we can start taking steps towards goals, taking steps towards getting in alignment where we need to be, and leaving room to pivot, leaving room for things to happen that aren't really on our timetable, that aren't really on our schedule, because that also gives us a little bit more flexibility and open-mindedness, because sometimes things will not always go as according to plan and we will need to make adjustments, but that is okay. So in closing, let me ask you, are you ready to step into the things that you already possess going into 2024? You are capable. Let this be your reminder. Let this be your reminder that you are capable. It's just time to commit. I encourage you to take some time after watching this video to reflect, to get clear on how you envision 2024 coming to life, because it's happening and it's happening for you. And I believe that. Listen, do not forget to join me in the next series, the next version of this series. Like I said, we're going to be unpacking what it really means to want to be the expert and how that could potentially be holding you back, but also mindsets that we are going to get rid of going into 2024, because it's going to be an amazing year. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. Do not forget to like, to comment, to subscribe, because we're almost there, y'all. We're almost to that goal. And I just can't wait to continue to build community. This has been one of the most fruitful things to happen this year. And to say that most of it happened in Q4, let that be your reminder that it's not too late. Let me be a testament that it's not too late. And don't forget to submit for the giveaway. Okay. I want to ship this off to somebody, to a lucky winner. Like I said, it's gifting season, and honestly, gift giving is 100% my love language. So please participate. Thank y'all for listening. I can't wait to be here, to be on the couch again. We'll talk soon. Bye.